Hey folks, how we doing? It's Mr. Carter here. Going to teach you today math lesson 1.3, place value in whole numbers. So our learning target is this. It's I understand procedures for rounding numbers through hundred thousands. So here's our math message. So Ravi wants to know the total number of students that go to his school. The school website says about 860 students. The school newsletter says about 900 students. The principal then tells Ravi that the school has exactly 856 students. How did the website get about 860? How did the newsletter get about 900? Be prepared to explain how you know. So here's the math message again. And we're going to talk, the first method for rounding we're going to use is using a number line. So the school website says about 860. When you see that word about, that tells us that they are estimating. So how did the website get about 860? Well, our exact number, according to the principal, is 856. So down here, it's 856. Now, to get to about 860, we rounded to the nearest 10. So we need to focus on that digit in the tens place. So to round to the nearest 10, we're going to focus on that digit in the tens place. So in this case, with the exact number 856, the digit we're focusing on is 5, which actually is worth 50. So here's our number line. We're going to begin building it. So we're going to build it using a lower number over here, which is 800. So we're going to take that 50 and we're going to make it 850 since we're counting by tens and we're focusing on that tens place. So our lower number is 850, meaning that our higher number, if we're counting by tens, the next 10 is going to be 860. So now our halfway number is 855 because we know that halfway between 850 and 860 is 855. So now we're going to place that 856, which is our exact number, on that number line. So 856 is around here. And then we ask the question, what 10 is it closer to? Since we're rounding to the nearest 10, we have to ask what 10 is it closer to? Well, in this case, 856 is closer to the 860, our higher number on the number line. So that means 860 is how the website got 860 is how the website got its information. So they rounded 856 to 860 because that's the closer 10. So let's look at the second part of that math message. So the second part says the school newsletter says about 900 students. So the second question is, how did the newsletter get about 900? Well, again, our exact number is 856, according to the principal. So to get to about 900, we had to round to the nearest 100. So again, we need to focus on the digit in the hundreds place. So with that number, 856, we're going to focus on the 8. Again, we're building our number line. And so our lower number, if I move this over here, why don't we do that? So our lower number on the number line is going to be 800. Why is it over? There we go. So our lower number, since we're working with hundreds this time instead of tens, our lower number on the number line is 800. So if we're counting by hundreds, our highest number is 900. Our halfway number is going to be 850 because 850 is exactly between 800 and 900. So once again, we're going to put that exact number on the number line. So it's 856. And we're going to ask which 100 this time is it closer to? Well, 856 is closer to that 900. So that's how the newsletter got 900. When you're rounding 856 to the nearest 100, it's 900. All right, method 2 is a way of rounding is adding zeros. So here's an example of, here's some numbers we're going to work with. So the King Ka roller coaster is 3,118 feet long. What is that rounded to the nearest 1,000. Well, step 1, write down the number. So we're going to go and write down the number we're working with, which is 3,118. Step 2, mark the number you are rounding to. Since we're rounding to the nearest 1,000, we're going to mark the number 3 because that's the digit in the thousands place. Step 3, replace all the digits after the mark here, this mark here, with zeros. So we're going to write the 3 and we're going to replace all the other zeros with, all the other digits with zeros. So we're going to have 3 zeros here. Now we're going to start building our number line. This here is going to be our lower number on the number line, which is 3,000. So now we have to figure out what our higher number is so that we can figure out how to round to the nearest 1,000. So step 4, let me move this over here now. Step 4 is you're going to add a 1 to the digit you're rounding to. So since the digit we're rounding to is the thousands place, we're going to add a 1 to that. So 3 plus 1 is 4. So then that's going to make it 4,000. So that now is our higher number. Step 5, ask yourself, ask yourself, is the number I'm rounding to closer to the lower or the higher number? Well, I just put the number that we're rounding here, 3,118, on the number line. Well, that's closer to our lower number. So that's going to be 3,000 is our answer. Because again, when you put this number on a number line, it's closer. You can see that it's closer to this 1,000. Okay. Method 3, who's the boss? And this is my favorite of the methods of rounding. So here's another number to work with. So the Millennium Force roller coaster is 6,595 feet long. What is that rounded to the nearest 1,000? So step 1, write down the number. So we're going to write down 6,595 because that's the number we're rounding. Step 2, mark the number you are rounding to. This is going to be our stop sign. So since we're rounding to the nearest 1,000, I'm going to put our stop sign under the digit 6 because that's what we're rounding to. We're rounding to the nearest 1,000. So that's going to be our stop sign. Step 3, the number after the stop sign is the boss. So this 5 here, the 5 that's in the hundreds place, is going to be our boss. Step 4, the boss tells us what to do. So there's a couple things that the boss will tell you to do. 1, the boss will tell you if it's 5 or above, give it a shove. Or 2, 4 and below, let it go. And that's what Elsa would say. Elsa would tell you to let it go. So anyway, so again, the boss will tell you to do 2 things. If the number is 5 and above, you give it a shove. If it's 4 and below, let it go. So in our case, you're going to write in our case, the boss is a 5, right? So that falls into this category, 5 and above. So he tells the 6, or the boss tells the 6 to give it a shove. And we're going to be shoving it up 1 digit. So that 6 is now going to become a 7. We're rounding it up to 7. Now, our last step is that everything after the stop sign becomes a 0. So this 5 here becomes a 0. This 9 here becomes a 0. This 5 here becomes a 0. And there you have it. Let's go back to our question, which is what is that number rounded to the nearest 1,000? So 6,595 rounded to the nearest 1,000 is 7,000. There's our answer. Let's try another one. The Beijing National Aquatic Center is 129,000 square feet. What is that rounded to the nearest 10,000? Step 1, write the number down. There's our number, 129,000. That's what we're trying to round. Step 2, mark the number you are rounding to. This is our stop sign. So again, we're rounding to the nearest 10,000. So in this case, we're underlining or marking this 2 in the 10,000s place. That's our stop sign. Step 3, the number after the stop sign is the boss. So the boss is the 9. Okay, so the boss is going to tell us what to do. That's step 4. The boss tells us what to do. So again, 5 and above, give it a shove. 4 and below, let it go. So this case, our boss is a 9. Once again, it's 5 and above. So we got to give that 2 a little shove. So we're going to rewrite everything up to our stop sign. So we're going to rewrite the 1, and then we're going to stop. Because we have to do something with this 2. Well, the boss is telling to 2 to be shoved up 1, right? So now it's going to become a 3. Step 5, everything after the stop sign becomes a 0. So the 9 becomes a 0, and then the others, they're already zeros, but we're just going to continue writing zeros until we're done. So again, our question was, what is that number, 129,000, rounded to the nearest 10,000? Well, our answer is 130,000. All right, folks, let's try one where Elsa is the boss and we let it go. Talk about that for a minute. So Elsa is the boss. So the Kalahari Resort is 173,000 square feet. What is that rounded to the nearest 10,000? Again, write the number down. Here's our number. Step 2, mark the number you're rounding to, and this is our stop sign. So we're rounding to the nearest 10,000. Our stop sign is the 7. So there we go. We have our stop sign. Step 3, number after that stop sign is our boss. The boss is the 3. The boss, again, tells us what to do. Once again, 2 things the boss can tell you to do. 5 and above, give it a shove. 4 and below, let it go. Well, here we are. The boss is a 3 this time. So we're going to let the 7 go. Well, what does that mean? So we're going to rewrite everything up to our stop sign. So we're going to write the 1. Now again, the boss said let it go. So we're not going to do anything to that 7. We're just going to leave it a 7. Okay, we're going to just let it go. Let it be a 7. And last step is everything after the stop sign becomes a 0. So that 3 becomes a 0, and then there we go. We write zeros all the way down. So again, our question was, what is that number? 173,000 rounded to the nearest 10,000. Well, the answer is 170,000. So that's it for today. You are going to need to do a couple of things. You're going to need to do your math journal page, which is page 7 for lesson 1-3, and the homework looks like this. So I hope this was helpful, and have a good day.